Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is P-Lo Loshak. This is the morning show that we do every weekday, 10:30 Eastern Time. Very generously sponsored by Intertops, a book that notably did have the best line in a few of the football games that I was looking to bet on this week and did, in fact, bet. And one of them, I think it was there was one NFL play that I did tweet out where Intertops actually had the best line. I think it was the under in the Jets-Bills game. I tweeted that one out, and that one cashed. I also tweeted out the over in the Washington-Philly game, one of those classic games that at halftime looking easy winner, and then they just missed it by a hair at the end. So there's going to be a lot of close calls in football this year, as we have seen every year, and week 1 and week 2 college football, no exceptions at all. Marty Ice is out today. We do have Zach, marketing director at SBR, here sitting in to bounce ideas and thoughts and frustrations off of. And what's up, Irvin Ocampo? What's up, Matthew Farman? What's up, South Bay Rider? What's up? All right, so a couple of things of note from the first full weekend of football. First of all, in case you doubted that the half points and full points that you line shop for actually do matter, Zach, you doubt that? Do you doubt that those half points matter?
They matter more than almost anything.
Okay, all right, yes, they do matter. They do matter because look at the picks that I gave. That's just a small sample of it. I gave Iowa State, right? When I gave it out, it was 2.5 or 3. So I line shopped, and of course I gave the 3, which is also what I bet it at, and wound up landing right on 3, very close to kickoff in the morning show that in the Saturday morning show that Big Man and I did on Saturday. I noted that Iowa was taking money and that 3.5s were popping up right before kickoff. So if you got the 3.5 at that point, you got to win. Landed right on 3. Also, a couple of totals plays that I gave in the show last minute with Big Man on Saturday morning. The point mattered. I love the over in the Michigan game. I got it at 50. I had to give it at 51 officially in the morning show because that's what the line was then. It was moving up. Landed on 50, and same deal with the BC Wake Forest over. So there was another example. Tons of examples where the half point and full points matter. And also, of course, we're also seeing the usual assortment of plays that the Sharps are way off of. Once again, the Sharps bet the under in the Tulsa game, went down from took a 6-point drop in the market. And once again, for a second week in a row, they were completely wrong, and I loved that one in week 1, and in week 2 I liked it again. I just was so spooked by the report of the Sharps liking the under so much and the big move to the under. I didn't have the balls to talk about it in a video, but once again they were wrong. And in NFL, the plays that Brett for Bet DSI told us about went 1 and 5. 1 and 5 in the NFL last week. The only winner they had was which one was it? I can't remember here. I have them right here. But terrible results from the Sharps this past week, and all sorts of crazy stuff happening. Hope everyone did well in general in the beat the bag and beat the prick contests. Those contests are off and running. I'm 3-2 in both of them, so that's nice. My goal, of course, since I'm not eligible, my goal is to avoid embarrassment as opposed to cash any prizes. So after week 1, I have avoided embarrassment sufficiently. Of course, there's 17 other weeks where this could happen, but yeah. So the Sharps were 1 and 5 in their college picks. In NFL, they were actually 3 and 1. And of course, one of the sharp plays tonight. New Orleans +4. Brent told us that New Orleans +4 is a sharp play tonight, and now it's down to 3 market wide. I can understand that. We'll talk about that game in a moment, but no, sorry about that. The Sharps were 3 and 1 according to Brent, and it was in college that they were 1 and 5. Sharps now 5 and 8 overall on the year in college, according to picks that Brent has given us. So yeah, and then let me just quickly check if there's anything else of note. Not really. Nothing else particularly noteworthy. Let me just check there. All right. And then, of course, there was MNA, which was another classic sort of UFC event. The main card gets canceled, and I handicapped the card pretty well. Maybe got a little bit too cute with my pick, Zach. You'll understand this. One of my picks was, first of all, I've been great in UFC this year so far. Even after I had a losing UFC 215, but even after that, 24 and 13 with an average line of plus 101, up 13.5 units, up 27% ROI. I did have a losing day in UFC 215. One of my big picks was Stevens to dominate, and he did in fact dominate. But I got a little bit too cute. I took him inside the distance, and to win the fight, he was against Melendez. He was minus 110. Inside the distance was plus 400, was a 4-1. So I took inside the distance, and after the first round, Melendez, as we all saw, could barely even stand. But you know, I don't know whether Stevens just didn't necessarily want to go for a knockout because he knew he had to fight one after that first round or whatever. Dominated 130-25 on one of the cards, I believe, but it went the distance, which meant that betting inside the distance lost. I still think I had the right play there, going from plus 100 to plus 400 on the inside the distance play. But you know, when you bet props in MMA, you're getting cute, and sometimes when you get cute, you hit a big score. Sometimes when you get too cute, like maybe I did in the Stevens fight, you get burned. But that's okay. Overall, it was still a profitable UFC. I had the over in the Shevchenko fight, over in the Pedro fight, both those cashed. And I had Magny going to decision, and that one was I think an irresponsible pick at minus 215, and Magny lost to RDA. So overall, again, it was I feel like I handicapped the card well, except for the Magny fight. The bounces didn't go my way. Still doing well in MMA. In MLB, of course, we're chugging along. We're starting to see some minus 300 lines, minus 400 lines. I think the Scherzer line recently was minus 400. Today we have a minus 400 line almost with Cleveland. The Dodgers continue to lose as a huge favorite, and they're once again a huge favorite today. So all sorts of craziness going on in baseball too. Cleveland's now won 19 in a row, and we've been saying this from day one of the MLB season that Cleveland has been underachieving. Obviously, they have an elite bullpen. Obviously, they have a great lineup. And obviously, they have a great starting pitching staff, so why wouldn't they be winning game in and game out? Well, now they are. They've won, I think, 18 or 19 in a row. And, you know, now they're going up against the Tigers. So we're starting to see these, you know, I was hoping for the ABC. I don't know. Would it be too hard for the books to offer minus 280? Yes, it would be. Now they're minus 400 tonight on against Detroit. I'm seeing some 400s. So, and the Dodgers continue to lose. Now, that's going to turn around at some point. Is it going to turn around in this series against San Francisco? I don't know. My sense is that they might not. They might win a game in this series. It's amazing that we're talking about that, about the Dodgers against San Francisco. It's possible that they're going to win a game, but I think that this is not the series where their value returns. It's going to happen at some point. You know, the Dodgers are going to start to be a team with value again. But as of right now, as a big favorite at San Francisco, I think once again we're looking at. I'm definitely not going to be betting on them, and I might, if I get some balls, be taking San Francisco as a big home underdog against the Dodgers. But this is how baseball changes. It's amazing, right? I mean, at one point, the Dodgers were the most dominant team in the majors by far. San Francisco the whole year has been absolutely horrible. And now we're sitting here, the Dodgers against San Francisco in the series, and we're saying, you know, it's not out of the question that the Dodgers might win a game here. But they're not going to have value. Unbelievable how this happens. And one thing to remember in baseball, you see this every year. The most awesome teams in baseball, when the Cubs won the World Series, they had a run where they were absolutely terrible game in and game out. They were a great fade. We've already seen that with Houston this year. Now Houston's coming out of it, and we're seeing it with the Dodgers here. So you kind of see that every year in baseball, where the absolute top team in baseball, or one of the absolute clear-cut top 2 or 3 teams in baseball, goes on an extended run where they just don't have energy and they're just a good fade. If we can identify when that's going to happen, you can make some great money that way. You could have done that against the Cubs last year, against Houston already this year, and currently against the Dodgers. And yeah, I think that like last year I was on that. I was on fading the Cubs, and I think I was on fading Houston a little bit this year. But the Dodgers, I could not pull the trigger, and this is going to be a tough series to pull the trigger with San Francisco as well. All right, let's see. Okay, let's see. Wow. Okay, a lot of funny, interesting comments here. We got some fun. I'm not gonna read the negative comments coming about.
Yeah, who's that?
I'm not gonna.
Have you ever seen that guy?
They're funny. Who?
Do you know who I'm talking about?
Am I allowed to say the name?
Sure, why not?
Drew Youngston?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have I seen him?
Yeah.
What? No.
No, I mean in the chat before.
Oh, yeah. I've seen him in the chat before. Yeah, I've seen him in the chat before.
Throwing some fire. Why don't we get his picks for tonight?
Yeah.
Go ahead and toss him in the chat, sir.
But Drew Youngston is asking Pistol, who's in charge of SBR? Now, I don't know who's in charge of SBR. I can tell you just one thing. it ain't me. I ain't in charge of SBR. So Drew Youngson, if you ever see a decision being made, there's lots of people who have that kind of power here. I ain't one of them. So I'm in charge of my jokes and my picks. That's it. That's all I'm in charge of. But yeah, all right. We've got a lot of. Let's just quickly get to some comments. There's a short card on MLB today. Again, a lot of tricky games. Although there is one game that I'm thinking that I'm liking, and possibly a couple others that I have a lean on. But okay, let's get to some. Some comments here. Yeah, awesome guys saying, "What are your picks, Drew?" Now, I'll tell you one thing. Just because you have an opinion on the quality of various handicappers who are out there doesn't necessarily mean that you have to give your own picks, because it is tough as hell. I mean, just like I can say that Bartolo Colon sucks. That doesn't mean that I can go out there and do any better than he can. But yeah, it is not. I'll tell you one thing. It is not easy to give. It is not easy to give picks publicly. Zachy Ice, it is not easy to give picks publicly, and I'll tell you, there's a couple reasons for that. First reason, as we know, any professional handicapper, as we know, the pros, we're talking about Billy Walters, those guys, the guys who are the best at what they do, they'll hit maybe 57%, right? So now you'll assume that the handicappers on SBR will do a little bit worse than that. So if let's say you're hitting 54%, if you're hitting 54%. People will notice those 46% losers way more than the winners, right?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, absolutely. So it's like if you're picking over 54, that's why I never want to sell picks ever, no matter how good I get, because even if I give 54, 55%, which would be awesome, phenomenal, there's going to be the days where it's like 1 and 3, and people are like, I thought you're an expert, I thought you know what you're doing, and I'm just sitting there being like, I knew what I was doing. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know why the Dodgers didn't win. I don't know why the Patriots lost. So yeah. It is a very, very difficult thing to do, to give picks publicly, but I'm up for the challenge. I'm up for the hate, and I do have the comedy chops to deal with it, to handle it. So that's another benefit that I have. But it's definitely tough, definitely psychologically challenging, psychologically challenging. All right, so just going to get to some comments, and then we'll get to the small MLB card, where I will give the one pick that I do like today, and we'll talk about some of the others that are leans, and then we'll talk about the 2 NFL games tonight, which are kind of interesting. Again, there is one pick that has been identified as a sharp side. Yeah, college football, 5-8. The Sharps 5-8 this year so far in college football. 1-5 yesterday, this week, including some picks that I just really don't understand. I think I'm gonna talk to Brent specifically about whoever it is that's been betting these Tulsa unders, because I was on the over both games. This last one, I was on it again, but I didn't tell anyone just in case I was wrong, so that I would save myself the embarrassment. But these Sharps are sometimes way, way, way off on their picks. You know what I'm talking about? Way off. Way off. All right. So let's get to some comments. Drew Youngson says he doesn't mind me, Pete. Now, for someone with high standards, that's like a big compliment. Thank you so much. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's just get some quick comments or questions. Quick comments or questions. Irvin Ocampo asking about KC today, and let me just quickly pull up the odds page here. Yeah, KC, that is a tough one. KC is not the kind of team that I want to be taking in the -170, especially with Hamill going. We'll talk about that in a second. Do they win today? More likely than not. Are they a good bet in the -170s? I don't think so, bro. Maybe though. I don't think so, bro. Okay, let's see. Everyone talking about the Jags. Yes. I actually I did have that one as a pick, but I just didn't. I tried to tweet out as much as I could. Because what I'm doing is, here's another thing. Sorry, we're going to get to the comments, but it really is like a 24/7 job. I don't have enough time to do all the things I would like to do. So all I'm doing these weeks are just in football season. It's just handicapping, sleeping, doing videos, betting, obviously this and that. And so a lot of my tweets are going to come out close to kickoff, and there's a lot of plays that I just won't have time to tweet out or whatever. I did tweet out Houston in college football. I thought that was a great bet. It was actually closer than I expected. But if anyone saw my Pac-12 previews this year, Arizona, that's going to be a team that's going to be bad. Now, I don't know when Arizona's going to have any betting value. They might have some line value at some point, but Arizona and Arizona State are both teams that are looking pretty uninspiring right now. So I tweeted out Houston. That was a pick, but they're all going to come. A lot of my tweets are going to come, half an hour or less closer to kickoff. So yeah, the Houston one, I did Jags game. I just didn't have time to to tweet that one. Matthew Varnum said, good call on the Bills Jets under. Thought it was heading over. Yeah, and that was also one of the sharp plays that was identified by Brent. Although interestingly, it didn't move that much. It opened at 42. That's where they bet it. And I think it actually went down and then went back up closer to kickoff. Yeah, I mean the Bills and both these teams are just kind of a disaster in their own ways. The Jets might not win a game this year. We'll see. But all right, let's see. Blake Kersey, 10 out of 13 ATS. Very nicely done, Blake Kersey. Very nicely done. Jesus Cabrera, hey, Pistol, what's the low-hanging fruit of the day? I don't know if there's anything quite low-hanging, but there are some plays I'm liking. We'll get into it. Okay, let's see. Austin Guy says, crazy day in NFL. I thought overs were going to be the play, not so much. Yeah, I thought that the Philly and Washington game was going to be a great overplay. I think we might see some overs in the upcoming weeks a bit. Maybe they're playing because of all the concussion protocol stuff, playing a little bit less intensely, which maybe will lead to less aggressive offenses. I don't know, but yeah, there were a couple of games that I thought were going over that didn't. So let's see. Jason M saying, especially Oakland game, thought the over was easy, and that's another play that I didn't tell anyone about. I liked the over in that one, and I was wrong. I was wrong about that one. I agree with you, Jason M. I had the over in the Tennessee game. I got it at a pretty good number. It closed really high. I also did have the Oakland team total over at 23.5, which I should have tweeted that one out. But yeah, I thought that game was going over as well. And I think we will see some higher scoring games from Tennessee coming up. Mariota obviously is who he is, and he's got some weapons to work with. So I think that we will see some overs involved with Tennessee upcoming. I thought that one was a decent play on the over, even though it was a high total. And yeah, I agree with you. I got a loss on that one. Blake Kersey saying UFC was BS because Shevchenko won that shit. Yeah, I mean, did you see that, Zachy Ice? I guess you didn't see that one.
Yeah, the one went to the decision.
Yeah. Do you agree with the decision or not? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I agree with it. It was just overall, I just didn't like the fight.
Right.
Nunes seems to have lost a lot of her fire.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
And having pulled out of a main event, and coming out and saying that you're never going to get another main event, and what this is, she said 2 now, and just their kind of just lackluster performances.
Yes. And Nunes might be, because we've seen that there's a lot of talent in women's MMA, and Nunes might be overvalued, especially having given credit for the win in this one. There might be some good betting value against her upcoming. Yeah, I thought it was going to go over, so I had that one a lot. And that's why I'm very careful about taking people to win by decision unless they're gonna win, unless I think they're gonna win very, very comfortably, because decisions, I don't even know sometimes when I agree or disagree, because I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at. I mean, I'm not sitting there with a clicker. I mean, there's an eye test for who seems to be dominating more, but in general, the decisions a lot of times don't make sense to me, and I'm not exactly sure how to talk about whether they made sense or not, because I'm not exactly sure what I'm supposed to be looking for. So yeah, it's an interesting. All right, so let's see. Yes, Nunes got lucky to pull that win. A lot of people's last. A lot of people disagreeing with that decision. Absolutely.
It's like they need somebody.
What?
They need someone to dethrone. It's like they need a champion in the female division. So
yes.
It's almost like they're going to try to give it to her. They're trying to create another Rousey.
Yeah.
They're trying to create someone for the female division until Steinberg finally comes up.
But I mean, when she's on her game, she gets vicious knockouts, which is, I mean, she has that capability. So it just didn't happen there. Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, it's weird, but that's the kind of intriguing drama that makes me actually really enjoy MMA. I enjoy everything about MMA except for the fights. I don't particularly like seeing people get beat up, but everything else I love about it. Blake Kersey saying, I had Tyson Pedro over 1. Yes, I had that one as well, and I gave the opinion. This is something in general you can look at in MMA. Whenever you have a guy like Tyson Pedro, who is a hot young prospect, undefeated, and moving his way up, and he's coming off of a bunch of early finishes where he dominated. When those people start to take their steps up in class, it's not necessarily that I expect them to lose or to be a good bet against, but I do expect the fights to go longer, and a lot of times because of their previous results, you see very low totals, as we saw with the Pedro Latifi fight, which makes sense. I mean, if you've got a guy who's like every fight's ending in round 1, of course his next fight you're going to have the total at 1.5. But as they step up and fight in class, it's not necessarily that I'm looking for them to be overvalued or to bet against them, but I am looking for the fights to go longer, and for some of those fights, initial fights with low totals, to be good bets on the over. And that was what I thought was the case there. It was clear that Pedro, whether he was going to win or lose, was going to have a tougher time with the human bowling ball that Latifi is. So yeah, that was a good play, and I gave that one out, and that was a nice one. All right, so Jive Man says Breeze got new weapons. Jason M says Saints look great preseason, tight defense too. A lot of people leaning the Saints here. Jive Man says Vikings are overrated. Jive Man says Bradford sucks. Come on. I agree with all of those comments until Bradford sucks. Bradford doesn't. Bradford has a strong, NFL arm. He looks like he's, might be improving in this current system if they have a better running game. So we'll say. I wouldn't say Bradford sucks, but I agree with you on everything about the Saints. One thing about the Saints is that their defense is looking like it might be the best defense that the Saints have had in a bunch of years. And if that's the case, then they could have some sneaky betting value, of course, because the Saints, their betting value tends to come when their line respect tends to come when their offense is exploding, and when the Saints have an average or above average defense in the Breeze era, that's when they can have some good line value and be undervalued. So we'll see. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, I'm looking into comments here. Lou Skunt says I'm still on a binge. I killed it this weekend. I hit on 11 of 14 picks. All right, Lou Skunt, you're going to have your hot runs and your cold runs. Remember, money management and appropriate bet sizing is the key. If you overbet your edges, you will lose long term, no matter what. If you're a good handicapper, you'll have hot runs more often than cold runs, but the cold runs will come anyway, and you bet size appropriately so that when the cold runs come, you don't hemorrhage units and hemorrhage your whole bankroll. But congratulations on the weekend. Lou Scott killed it this weekend, 11 out of 14. Okay, let's see. Michael Maeda says, I said it Friday during this chat, and once again, betting against the Oakland A's at home has cost me a lot this year. Houston loses to Oakland. Yeah, well, Oakland, as I've been doing this all MLB season long, and I've noted that Oakland has been one of those teams, as you often do see with West Coast teams that are mediocre or subpar. We've even seen it with San Diego this year. Stark home road discrepancy. They've been one of the worst teams in baseball on the road, and at times one of the best teams in baseball at home, and in general, not a good fade at home. And we saw the same thing with San Diego, and I can guarantee you we're going to see the same kinds of things next year in baseball. So that's something to kind of be aware of. I'm very, 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 very careful about betting, road favorites, especially big road favorites on the road against West Coast teams like that, like Oakland, when they're crappy West Coast teams. Crappy West Coast teams as big home underdogs are usually very, very trappy, and so I'm not really surprised that is what we've seen. All right, okay, so let's see. Guan White saying, Pete, do you like the Orioles tonight? Oh, man, that is a really tough game. I think I'm going to stay off it. Obviously, Jimenez is what he is. Jimenez is a terrible pitcher, but as I've said in this show many times, 25% of the time, out of nowhere, he does actually have a good start. And one of those times this year was against Toronto, at Toronto. He's faced them once this year at Rogers Center, and he had an 8-inning shutout start. So this game makes me very nervous. In general, I like Baltimore. Baltimore also a team that hasn't been good on the road. So I think, despite the fact that you could easily make a case for fading Ubaldo Jimenez every time out, I'm going to stay off that game. That game, like sort of a quiet Monday game, makes me very nervous. Would not be surprised if Jimenez once again has a decent start against Toronto. So I'm staying off that game. That is not a game that I'm going to bet, or a game that I'm going to be giving it as any kind of a pick at all. All right. Excuse me, Akko Schofield, my WNBA went well. Yep, it is the playoffs in WNBA. Mine went okay. I hit both the sides, whiffed on both the totals, Akko Schofield. I had both the underdogs, knew they were both good bets, and I thought I had good plays. I thought the Liberty game was going to go over. I got it at 154, went to 150, so that was a loser, and I also thought the other one was going to go under. That one went barely over. But, I will be giving out the WNBA playoff picks as they come up with possible value, and in general, I think that there's a decent value in general. All right, Darryl Lyle says, Pete, Saints plus 3.5. I'll get to that in a second, but I don't know. The Sharps like the Saints plus 4. We'll talk about that in a second. Lou Skunt says, Saints fan here. Saints will lose tonight. Interesting. And anytime a fan of a team gives an opinion on their home team's likely results, especially when it's a bad opinion, That's one of the most valuable opinions that there is in sports betting. I have said that from day one. If you have a Zachy Ice, that's one of the things I think about and look for. If someone is like, if someone goes to like Kansas State and they're like, I go to Kansas State, I've been following them since I was 14 years old. Trust me, Kansas State is going to blank this weekend. That is one of the most valuable opinions in all sports betting.
Yeah,
and especially when they're saying bad things about their home team. But
true. I'd love to reach out to beat writers.
Well, what?
I've got a few beat writers that I follow on Twitter that I chat with.
Yeah,
those guys. Yeah, that are just focused 100% on a specific team.
Beat writers are good, but I'm talking about like just average asshole fans with a hot dog and a beer, like those guys. You know what I mean? Because beat writers are good, but they're also like they get too bogged down in like the narrative that they have to give on in their articles and stuff.
But that's why you don't read the article. That's why you talk to them directly.
Right?
Yes. You talk to them directly.
There you go. Yes, but you're absolutely right that beat writers in general are, of course, also they have some of the beat writers actually are great for. I wouldn't necessarily say that they're great for predictions, but they're great for key research
information.
Yes,
exactly. That's what I was getting.
Yes. That is absolutely true.
And the smaller the school, the better.
Yes, the smaller the school, the better. Absolutely. Although all college is small enough that yes, I absolutely agree with that. And in my fantasy life, I would have like at least one or maybe two people who were just research people who just did that stuff for me, and so I wouldn't have to go and do the research myself. I would just get the report handed to me every morning or every week or every afternoon or whatever, and I'd be like, okay, this is important research right here, because I like to do it myself, but it is time consuming. It is time consuming to dig around and find that stuff. But yeah, okay. So the point is, Lou Skunt says Saints fan here. Saints will lose tonight. And to my eye, that is an opinion with an asterisk, because that is a very someone who says they're a fan. All right, let's see. Jason M says Diamondbacks money line. Yes, I was thinking about that myself. Jason M. I'm just still a little bit burned from having taken the Diamondbacks as sort of a no-brainer play that I knew was the wrong side on Friday against San Diego. I took them ±1. And they wound up losing there. But again, I do like him here. Greinke's very, very reliable. Freeland is very, very iffy. In Colorado, of course, coming off the big sweep of the Dodgers. We've seen this all the time. A team plays really well against one of the top teams in the majors and then goes into their next series, and they kind of come crashing back down to earth. So yeah. All right, let's see. But yeah, I agree with you, Jason M. I might wind up giving that out as a pick. Jason M. saying New Orleans and Denver for me. Very confident. That's interesting. Jason M., tell us why you like Denver. I'm concerned about their offense, and I'm concerned that their defense, still a great defense, but not necessarily as elite as we've seen in the past. And I'm very concerned about Simeon and how their offense is likely to do. And the Chargers are a team that I'm kind of high on a little bit, at least to start the season. The Chargers, of course, last year were bitten viciously by the injury bug. Everyone was gone on defense, on offense, the offensive line, the whole thing. But to start the year this year, Keenan Allen is back. Joey Bosa's a beast on defense, and it looks to me like unless and until the injury bug hits the Chargers again, they're looking like a team that I'm thinking might be undervalued, especially since people are like, oh, what are they doing in LA? The LA is too crowded, and they're kind of being overlooked a little bit. I'm thinking the Chargers might be a little bit like Toronto in the CFL. In the CFL, Toronto was notoriously a team that the city just didn't care about. They were notoriously a team that was overvalued at home, a bad bet at home, but often a good bet on the road. And I think we might see that with the Chargers this year. I think we might see the Chargers overvalued and a good fade at home, but a good bet when they go on the road against whoever they wind up playing at whatever lines.
Well, you just said yourself, it's always good to talk to a diehard fan.
Yes.
I'm from North Carolina. I've been an NC State fan my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I've watched Phillip Rivers play numerous times in person. Love the guy. Yes. Love the Chargers. He shows up to play Denver every single year. Even in the Peyton Manning years, even go before that, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers show up to play the Broncos. They don't always walk away with the win, but they keep it interesting.
Yes.
The Broncos don't have the weapons they've had. San Diego's healthy. When have we seen a healthy San Diego team on the field?
Not for a while.
Not for a while. Chargers, I love this line. Not touching the total, but I love this line tonight.
That's the way I was thinking as well. I mean, don't forget, Keenan Allen got injured in week 1 last year. I mean, that's, when that stuff starts to happen, these NFL teams are like, oh, great, here we go. We're it this year. We're the team that gets, bit by the injury bug and everything goes wrong. Now they're starting out fresh. That was a great bunch of points there by Zachy Ice here just reinforcing the way I was thinking. Yeah, of course. Also, guys say Melvin Gordon is pretty good. Also, not only is Melvin Gordon good, but what I've been reading in terms of my research on this team is that he's improving and they're figuring out better ways to use him in the offense. Now, yeah. So there's a lot of Hako Schofield saying take Chargers. All right, the shift like an MMA or boxing fight where the momentum has suddenly shifted 180 degrees. A bunch of pro Denver comments. Now all of a sudden, a bunch of pro Chargers comments. Hako Schofield saying take Chargers. Jason M saying, oops, maybe I'm a bit less confident now. Oh my gosh. Okay, well tell us why, Jason M. I mean, look, they have a great defense. Just not sure if it's as elite as it was before. Simeon, there's some weapons on offense. I'm just not sure I'm totally seeing it.
They can always fall back on Osweiler.
Yeah, right there you go.
But no, Rivers has a cannon.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I mean, and he's always had. Yeah, I mean, and it's just like it looks like the Chargers as a team are a team that I'm a little bit high on, at least to start the season. Obviously could be wrong. We've seen these lines land right on where they were priced, and the sharps be wrong and the sharps be right. So who knows? If Denver gets a 20-point win here, I will not come on here and say I don't know what happened. I'll come on here and say par for the course. All sorts of unexpected stuff happens in college football and NFL, but I'm feeling the same way as what Zachy Ice just said. I'm leaning Chargers here. All right, okay. And I might give that one out as a pick to add onto my official record. Let's see. Darryl Lyle says Broncos mediocre at home against the spread, 13-13-1 last 3 seasons. Yeah. And Neil Frank says the only real weapon Denver lost was T.J. Ward. They still have a top 5 receiver duo. Yes. And the best secondary in the league. Yes. Not to mention the pass rush. Obviously, yes. I mean, there's a reason why they still get a ton of line respect. The defense is, even if it takes a step down, it's still going to be a top 10 defense, probably a top 5 defense. So, it's tough. William O'Connell says, how about team totals? I love team totals, William O'Connell. I love betting team totals. Even with my losing play on the Oakland-Tennessee game this past weekend, I did still have the Oakland team total over. I love team totals in NFL and in college football, and I'm definitely going to be tweeting a bunch of them out this season. The problem with team totals is that they come out, very close to kickoff, so you can give approximate picks on what you think. We can give picks on what you approximately think the team total is going to be, but the official picks you can't give until the line does come out, and a lot of times the lines do move, obviously from week 1 to a kickoff, so the team totals can be very different from what the side total would indicate that they would be in the beginning of the week. But yes, I love team totals in football in general, and I will be tweeting out a bunch of them this year, hopefully, if I have the time. All right, so Conrado Mendoza saying, I like the under in LA Denver. What does totals Loshak? Well, yes, I'm staying off it. If you gave me a free pick I think the under is right where it is. You could easily see it sneaking over, actually. I understand the play on the under. Denver, obviously, I'm staying way, way, way off of that total. If you gave me a free play, if you gave me a free play on it, I'd actually maybe throw it on the over. That it might sneak over. The under might cash, but that one I am totally off of. I like the under in the New Orleans-Minnesota game a little bit more, actually, and the Chargers-Denver game I'm totally off of as far as the total is concerned. All right, so let's get to the MLB card right now. A short card, and the play that I'm liking in general on today's card in MLB is the under in Pittsburgh, Milwaukee. Brault against Woodruff. These two guys are both guys who are youngsters, so not huge names. And Brault is a little bit of a risky play here because his major league numbers have not been that great overall. He seems to be having a problem with striking out major league hitters, which is not something that we saw from him in the minors. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but his minor league numbers were great. He's a guy who had great minor league numbers. Major league results have been a lot more middling. He's actually prevented runs okay, but just not missing bats at all. Woodruff is kind of the opposite. He was less inspiring in the minors, but he's off of a great start where he got some great results. So overall, I'm thinking that I like the under here at 9. Both starting pitchers, I think, should be okay. Chance that one of them might get hit. Chance it might come a little bit close, but that's a play that I'm liking. Under 9 and minus 102 at Pinnacle is the line there that we can get. Under 9 minus 102 Pittsburgh and Milwaukee might be cutting a little bit close. taking a little bit of a risk, taking an under with these starting pitchers, but it's a play that I'm liking. Two other plays that I'm thinking about are one is the first 5 innings over in Seattle, Texas, Miranda and Hamels. The other one is Arizona -1. We'll start with the Seattle, Texas game. Miranda and Hamels are both obviously very, very iffy right now. Miranda, even though he had that wacky game in his last game where he no-hit Houston for a bunch of innings, he still gave up 6 walks. He's a guy who really tempts fate every start out. He's either given up home runs or given up a lot of walks. Does have nasty stuff, of course, will get his strikeouts, or probably he's going to get his strikeouts, and can be great at hit prevention, but in general, a guy who is shaky right now. And then Hamels on the other side has been regressing as I've expected. So I have a lean to the first 5 innings over on that one. I think I might hold off on it, though. And then the other one I'm leaning towards, again, is Arizona -1. Greinke against Freeland. Freeland has been very vulnerable recently, and Greinke, of course, very, very reliable. Colorado coming off of a sweep of the Dodgers. Unbelievable. Now they go into Arizona, and this will be a different situation here. Arizona has not been slumping the way the Dodgers have been. You know, the money line in the game is around -190, -195, but, taking them on a -1 line might have some value. I did get burned doing that with Arizona on Friday, but I think it might be okay here. Then also the Dodgers-San Francisco game is very interesting. San Francisco is, once again, the Dodgers, having lost 15 out of their last 16 or whatever it is, are -200 on the road. Maeda against Stratton. Maeda has been excellent recently. His last start was excellent. He'll probably be good here as well. Stratton less inspiring, but still good enough, I think, to warrant a play on the home underdog line at that big of a line. I was thinking about a shot with the under on that one as well. I actually did bet that one on the overnight. I got 8.5. It's now down to 8. You know, you can make a case for the San Francisco team total under. I think Maeda is going to have a good start here. So I might give that one in a second. If I was going to bet that one, I would probably take a shot with the San Francisco team total under, as well as a full game under at 8.5. And then we have the Detroit-Cleveland game, which is interesting because, of course, Cleveland has won 19 in a row, or whatever it is, 18 or 19 in a row. The line is, on the opening line, it was right around 300. Now it's all the way up to like the 360s, 370s. I'm sure this one will hit 400 because Carrasco has been literally lights out over his past bunch of starts. His last start was a shutout start, and I think he's given up 0 or 1 earned runs over his past 3 or 4 starts, something like that. When he's on, he's literally lights out, and Detroit is a lineup that can be shut down. So I was thinking about taking a shot with the Detroit team total unders. The first 5 innings is just 1.5. The full game is 3. Carrasco, just because someone's been lights out for 3 or 4 games in a row, as we've seen many times, does not at all necessarily mean that they're going to be able to do it a 4th or 5th time in a row. But it just seems like, once again, Carrasco is going to have a great start. And you know what? I will throw it on there. I'll throw on the first 5 innings team total under for Detroit as a second pick. It's 1.5. The Pinnacle line is 129. The Heritage line is 125. So I'm going to take that one. Detroit first 5 innings team total under 1.5, -125. As far as the line on that game, I don't know, man. If you want to take Detroit in the minus, 390s or whatever, go for it. I'm not going to do that. I'm sticking with the team total under. But they might be a good bet even at -400. Who knows? I mean, they might be a team version of Clayton Kershaw right now with how they're playing and the starting pitching, the bullpen, and everything. Let's see. The Yankees and Tampa Bay game, of course, is a makeup game that's being played in at Citi Field. Not a makeup game. The location is being switched to Citi Field, and Odorizzi's coming off a strong start. Before that, he was struggling. So I might expect the Yankees to hit Odorizzi a little bit here, but I'm going to hold off on that one for now. Look a little bit more into that closer to first pitch, and maybe tweet something out. If I tweet something out, it will get added on to my official record. And other than that, Arizona -1. The White Sox-KC game is a pass. The White Sox starting pitcher, Lopez, is a youngster with some good upside, but inconsistency, and Hamill is the opposite, very consistent, but not much upside. So that's a game that I am staying off of. And, and the Toronto-Baltimore game is also a pass. Tomrio Tomor is back with his comments. I think Cleveland is a good bet. They lost in World Series last year and seem like they want to stay focused and go into the playoffs hot. Yes. Problem is just you're laying -370, -360. Best line right now, Pinnacle -356. Tomrio Tomor, you think Cleveland's a good bet at -356 or on the run line -1.5 at -172? Some high prices there, but I agree with you. I think Carrasco's going to have another great start, and I'm on the Detroit team total under 1.5. All right, so let's see. Tomori says White Sox bullpen is so bad, I think it's hard to bet them full 9. Yeah, the White Sox are a bad team in general, but KC is just an uninspiring team at that line, especially with Hamill starting. So that's a pass for me. Tomori says I would only bet Cleveland team total over. Not at those prices. Let's see what the Cleveland team total over is here. Yeah, the Detroit starting pitcher, Jay, is a guy who is being brought up not because he dominated the minors, but because they don't really have anyone else. And his minor league record was actually not that great. Let's see what the team total is here for Cleveland. 5 minus 133. That's pushing it a little bit, especially with the weather. So, yeah, I'm just going to be on the first 5 innings team total under. All right. Okay. So let's see. Other comments and Loose Gunt is happy because he's got he's coming off a good weekend. Loose Gunt, congratulations on your great weekend. Just I want to see you come out profitable on the year. So bet size appropriately. So when the inevitable down weeks come, your bankroll doesn't get completely burned by that. All right. Okay. Let's see. Tomor says, Chargers have a strong defensive line. They should be able to pressure Denver. Denver's offensive line replaced left tackle and left guard, but is still average at best. Yeah, that's a tough game. I wish I was getting a few more points than 3. Wish I was getting like 4.5. That would be awesome. But at 3, I think I'm liking the Chargers anyway. Let's see. Tomor says Moreno is much better at home. That's true. I think he's in a letdown spot, but Texas lineup is tough to bet against left-handed pitchers. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on that one for sure. Blake Kersey says Bears unders might be a good bet going forward. Duly noted, Blake Kersey. Okay, so I think we can wrap it up. It's a small baseball card, a couple of NFL plays, a couple of NFL games that are definitely interesting to think about. So let's review the MLB card. So I'm definitely giving Pittsburgh and Milwaukee under 9 minus 102. Definitely giving Detroit team total under first 5 innings 1.5 minus 125. And then the Colorado-Arizona game. Man, that is a tough one. I'll hold off on that one. Although Arizona minus 1 is a very, very, very strong lead. Freeland, not starting in Colorado. God, I really want to give Arizona your minus 1. Jeez, I really want to. You know what? I will. I'll give it. Colorado's coming off of the sweep of the Dodgers. All right, I'll give that one. Arizona minus 1, a little bit pricey, but I'll take it. The money line part of that minus 188 at Pinnacle, and the run line part of that will be plus 114 also at Pinnacle. So that'll be a modest favorite line for Arizona minus 1, but I will take that one. Of course, I'm still way up since the All-Star break and up a little bit on the year overall in MLB. So just 3 picks today in MLB. And then for the NFL card, I don't know, man. Do I want to add? I have a slight lean to the Minnesota-New Orleans under. New Orleans, they tend to be a little bit more modest scoring when they go on the road and play teams like Minnesota. We have seen that from them in the past, and Minnesota can hold down, explosive offensive teams. Of course, New Orleans defense, as we know, is expected to be improved this year. And in general, Minnesota should be playing a relatively conservative offensive game plan. So I would have a slight lean to the under on that one and a slight lean to the Chargers at plus 3. Man, I really want to – the Chargers plus 3. I really want to add that one to my official record here. You know what?
Toss it in.
You think so? It's a little bit – God, it's 3 points. I mean, Denver's still good. You know what I mean?
You'll love me for it tomorrow.
You think so?
I know.
All right, I'll do it.
I know it.
Okay, I'll do it. I'm going to take the UHR line, though. I'll tell you that. Plus 3 minus 110. It's, again, you got to shop around for these lines here. Pinnacle has 117. The Greek has 115. Bookmaker has 119. Even Intertops minus 115. They ain't no fools at Intertops. UHR has a plus 3 minus 110. Okay. All right. God, that's cutting it close because they basically got to win. I mean, unless they really close by 1 or 2 points, they basically got to go into Denver and get a win.
Is that so far-fetched?
It's not. I guess it's not. I mean, if the Giants can go into Houston and get a win, all right, I'll take it. I'll throw it onto my official record. Chargers plus 3 minus 110 at UHR. This one makes me nervous, but I might love Zach for it tomorrow. Really wish I was getting 3.5. would love to be getting 4.5 here, but I'm going to have to take 3.
Do you think that line's going to extend?
No, I think it's right where it is. I think it's going to hang really. I think it's going to hang close right at 3. That's my prediction. That is my prediction. That's my prediction. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Tomoyo Tomor. I watched Simeon for years at Northwestern, living in Chicago. He was never good in college, and I think against a good D-line, he will struggle here. A lot of people making me feel a little bit better, but it's just, if it loses, it's just 1 unit. All right, I'll be like, why did I do that? Not that big of a deal, You dumb porn, Ratanafacti says Arizona hit lefty well. Yes, they do. And Freeland is definitely a very hittable lefty. So I'm glad that I put that one on there. I got 3 MLB picks. None of them count as low-hanging fruit, but all of them count as pretty decent plays, I think. Milwaukee, Pittsburgh under 9. Detroit first 5 innings, team total under 1.5. And Arizona -1. Okay, that's it. I guess that's about it. And I am adding on, spurred on by Zachy Ice and all of the posters in the all the commenters in the chat box here, supporting the Chargers as well. I'm going to give a pick, add it on to my official record. Chargers +3 -110, and a slight lean as well to the under in the Saints-Minnesota game. Although I'm not going to give that one because Minnesota might ramp up the offense. I'm not as down on Bradford as some people are. He might have a decent game. That's a game that could sneak over at like 49 or 49.5. I might actually give it as a pick, but at 48, I'm going to hold on.
And one last little quick thing for you before you sign off, Pete. We got 96 guys watching right now. Mm-hmm. 29 likes, fellas. Come on now, hit that button. Show us some love. Keep our lights on.
I mean, it's so easy just to hit a like button. Hit a button. Like you're asking. Exactly.
Share the video. Put it on your Facebook wall. Send it to your mother.
Send it to your mother. Absolutely. Michael Mayetta asking an interesting question. If you like the Chargers, so friggin' much, why not have some double balls and take them on the money line? Because as I said, they pretty much got to win. That's a good point. That is an excellent point. Let's quickly just check to see what the money lines are at SBR Odds. Of course, you just click on spreads and scroll down to money line. Click on that one, and let's see what the money line is. You might be right. I mean, of course, the market. The quick short answer is that the market prices NFL money lines accurately. So the truth is that overall, in general, whenever you see a 3-point road underdog, there's equal value, unless you're handicapping volatility. There's equal value on the money line as there is on the spread +3. Market is not. The market has figured out, still a little bit inefficient in some ways, but one way it's not inefficient is converting spreads to money lines in the NFL. And let's see what the money line is for the Chargers. Yeah, +130. The Greek has 135, 5 times 138. Yeah, I mean, and the answer there is that Denver could easily win by 3 or 2 or 1. So it's a good point, though, Michael Mayetta. And actually, in this case, I actually kind of agree with you that there is actually probably high volatility, which would indicate to me that, as there usually is in Denver games in general at home, that taking the underdog is better. And because I think that if there's a reasonably good chance that the Chargers either get blown out or do get the actual win here. Whenever you have road games in Denver and including in Colorado, there's higher volatility, I think, than the market prices in. So I actually agree with you. Actually, Michael Mayetta, I agree with you that there's probably a little bit more value on the Chargers money line. What?
Taking that money line.
No, I agree with Michael Mayetta's point, but due to a lack of balls, I'm just going to stick with the +3 -110 from you wager. But I would vaguely agree with you, Michael Mayetta, that there is a little bit more value on the Chargers money line at +130. Good, not a ton, but just a little bit. So yeah, Chargers +3 is going to be Luke Chase Fox says I like the Saints tonight and the over. Yes, again, the Saints were a sharp play, according to a Brent, at +4. Now they're down to +3.
And we got Thilmarino kind of echoing what I said earlier. If you like the Chargers, wait until game time. The public might push that line to 3.5.
At Square Books. Yeah, I mean.
So,
sure. At Square Books, yes.
That's why you have multiple accounts.
That's why exactly, absolutely right. That's why you have multiple accounts. Yeah, I mean, if you're line shopping around, for sure, in the NFL, you will get extra half points, and you have books at the Square Books and the Sharp Books. You will easily be able to add a half point to.
Perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and post a link to the Best Sportsbooks page in the chat, so guys can find those books, get you another account. And yeah, I'm probably going to wait for that line to move a little bit as well.
but it's +3 juice in favor of the Chargers now. So that would have to be pretty strong, sharp action for a rec book to actually start to hang 3.5. I predict we won't see 3.5 by kickoff. No. We might. We'll see, and maybe a Bodog or something like that. But yeah,
unless Pete just moved the line.
No, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, impossible. But all right, so that wraps it up. I am adding the Chargers +3, -110. Line shopping around at UWager. I got the +3, -110. 3 MLB picks today. And tomorrow, I will hopefully have crunched a whole bunch of college football games and might be able to give a bunch of early picks on some college football games. And, of course, the full MLB card goes tomorrow, which I will crunch as well. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in.
Click that like button.
Click the like button.
Click it.